Hi friends, I'm Kyle Ford, and today in this video we're going to talk about Mastin Labs Portra Original Pack for Capture One. Kirk and the team at Mastin Labs have been redesigning these packs from the ground up for Capture One, and I'm super pumped to show you guys what they've done. I'm going to go through a handful of images showcasing a variety of environments so you can see how each preset reacts to each environment individually. Let's jump into Capture One and take a look. Alright friends, we're here in Capture 120. Before we jump into any images and comparisons, I'm just going to let you know what we've got going here. This is the Portra Original Pack from Mastin Labs. They've completely redone this pack for Capture One, and it includes Portra 160, Portra 400, and Portra 800. Now these are the classic portrait films from Kodak. I love all three of these films. They're really great, and then the reproductions are just as good. Portra 160 is the neutral, bright light film. It's great for sunny days. My lab always tells it because I end up shooting it in darker situations and I end up pushing it, but that's okay. It's neutral, it's subtle, and it's got great skin tones. We have Portra 400, which is a little more contrasty. It's kind of like the all-arounder. You can use it in daylight, a little bit lower light, push it a little bit, or you can use it in shadow, it's really great for all natural light. And then Portra 800 is just another variation on the Portra film, but it's a little contrastier. It's great for low light. It's really great pushed, and fantastic color film, really contrasty, really punchy, and it's beautiful. As always with all Mastin Labs products, you have the traditional 3-click and you're done method. So you select the film, you select the white balance, and you select the tone, and you're done. You also do have the lens correction and grain options you can tweak as well, but these white balances aren't the same as what Capture One and in previous versions of Lightroom have. They're tweaked just a little bit to be a little more accurate representations of how the film handles in those situations, which is super great. And then I don't find myself tweaking as much with these, so they're almost perfect all the time for me. And then the tone is basically what you would tell your lab how you want your film scan, all hard, all soft, highlight hard, and same with the shadows. Basically just replications on how you would give your lab instructions. So super great, and it's really quick contrast flips for your images just to see how they look. So let's jump in. Let's see, there's Jenna here in Iceland. Really great overcast day, so I'm guessing 400 or 800 is going to be my favorite on this one, but we'll take a look. Here's Portra 160. Pretty contrasty. It's a pretty contrasty image to begin with, so if we come off, it's already pretty contrasty out of camera, but that's pretty nice. Very, like I said, subtle. The tones are a little subdued. 400, you bring a little more warmth into your image and a little more contrast. And here's 800. I really like 800. I think that's the one I would pick if we were doing this image. Just we'll run back through them really quick. There's 400 and 160. 160's got great skin tones though, and I like the sky. But let's jump in with Portra 800 on this guy. See, it's cloudy. Bring those blues out on that nice glass on the beach. And then I want to do all soft because it's quite contrasty. And then you can go in and make a few tweaks, I think. I find Capture One's a little contrasty for my taste sometimes, but bring up the exposure a little bit. If you've used previous versions of Capture One also, you'll notice that the dynamic range here has changed, which is interesting. It operates like Lightroom does now, and like how my brain was kind of trained. So the highlights and shadows, whites and blacks all react how you would expect, because in previous versions they didn't quite do that. It was a little tricky to get your head around if you weren't used to that. So anyways, here we go. I really like where this image is at. It's great. Got some nice skin tones. The blues are back in the ice, and the sky looks like it's not peaking at all, so that's perfect. I really like that. Let's jump down to the next image here. This was a headshot that I did with my Leica in the Capitol building here in Salt Lake, with some window light, so it can be a little tricky with the mixed light, but we'll see how it does. Portra 160, very subdued, not very contrasty. Portra 400, it's a little yellower in the background there. And then Portra 800, a little bit darker back there, so it's a little oranger than yellow. I really do like the 800 here as well. We try to I think we'll just do daylight because that window was right there. You don't want tungsten, that's not good at all. I'm gonna go with all hard for this guy. And then go in here, bring up the exposure a hair, maybe the shadows a touch, bring down the blacks a little bit, bring down the highlights a touch. I think that's beautiful. That's quite nice. Please ignore this banding here. I gotta send my camera off to Leica, it's misbehaving. Back to the presets panel here. Here's another wedding image from Curtain Alley. Beautiful out there. Let's see, here's Portra 160, Portra 400, and Portra 800. Those two are very similar, a little more contrast than 800, but I really love Portra 400 for this. The skin tones are beautiful. I think we're gonna go with cloudy. It was sunset, so the light's a little tricky. I wish that there was a way to nail that every time, but we'll go with cloudy, keep it a little warmer. And all hard, all soft, highlight hard, highlight soft, shadows. And I think all hard is the way to go. Tweak it just a little bit, but that's almost done. Like, that's beautiful. Bring that up, bring these down a touch. Man, love, love, love this pack, Kirk. Great job, team. Here's one more from that session because I love it. Portra 160, Portra 400, Portra 800. That's nice. I think I would probably go with 400 here, but let's just do 160 for argument's sake. I might leave it to where it was actually, a little warmer, how it was shot, and then we'll go all hard, and then we'll bring back some of those shadows. Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. Buddy, that's what I'm talking about. Here's a little something different. These are kind of seen as natural light films most of the time, but we'll take a look at this studio wedding image we've got here. Portra 160. This is gonna be real contrasty out of camera, so like we're gonna have to tone that down. Portra 400. Ooh, Portra 800. Look at that 400. That is fantastic. I think those Kinos are daylight balanced. They're pretty dang close. I don't know if I'm going to want any of these. It's going to take some more tweaking. So let's bring up the shadows a touch. Bring down the blacks a hair. A little bit contrasty for me. If you hold Alt in Capture One, you can really get fine granular adjustments with your sliders. Let's bring down the contrast a little bit here. Wow, that is something. I would probably warm it up a hair because that dress is a little blue, and then I'd probably fix the dress actually in Photoshop because the skin is pretty much where I want it, but we're getting definitely some blue tones in here, and I'd probably go in and fix that in Photoshop, and we don't want this to be too yellow down here either, so I would probably retouch that as well. But holy smokes, let's take a look at the before and after on that. Dang, that's amazing. Here's one of me camping just for fun. Portra 160, it was very dark, so that's probably not gonna work. Portra 400, Portra 800. Let's go with 800. And open shade. Sun had gone down by now, so it's a little bit interesting. Let's go all soft. You can see what the lens corrections do also. They definitely get rid of some of that on the edge. Keep that on. Some 35mm grain. For good measure. Let's see here. That looks pretty good. I'd probably do some noise reduction because kicking that up, it's gotten a little grumpy, but that's all right. Bring the shadows right there. Blacks down a touch. Highlights aren't much. That's pretty good. I like it. Well done, friends over at Mastin Labs. Well done. Love this pack. I'm so excited to have all my tools in Capture One. I'm just ready to ditch Lightroom, so you guys keep up the good work over there. Love you guys. I hope this live editing session was helpful for you guys to see what this pack is capable of. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.